Most of us don't like to be bored. Most of us don't like boredom. We do whatever we can to avoid it. And we're almost addicted to filling in the silence, filling up the spaces in our day, and avoiding it at all cost. Welcome to Path to Peace with Todd Perlmutter. I'm your host, Todd Perlmutter. Our world is a projection of our collective consciousness. The more peace we bring into our lives, the more peace we bring into this world. So let the transformation begin. When I was a kid, it was a lot harder to escape boredom. Today, it is very easy. When I was a kid, TV shows were on all day, but only the good ones were on at night. And if I wanted to watch a movie, it was limited to the few movies I had in my house. And today, we can watch our favorite content, listen to our favorite content, have the world's library in our pocket 24/7. We can scroll endlessly, engaging content. We're not just limited to reading one newspaper, we can read all the newspapers. And while this incredible on-demand technology is useful and can be empowering and can enrich our lives and connect us, it has also made moments of stillness an endangered species. It has shortened our attention span. It has made us less appreciative of the slower moving pace of nature. And it has robbed us of our precious time for reflection and introspection throughout the day, which is so essential if we are going to not carry all of the little stresses and worries that happen throughout our lives. We need to reflect on them. We need to process the events in our lives that happen so that we can move on free from them. And most importantly, it has made us a stranger to peace. It has made peace, those silent moments, uncomfortable and disturbing to us. And we resist them at all cost. And if you doubt it, just try sitting still for an hour and see how easy it is. Most people's minds will turn against them in that short time. It will complain, it will scream, it will try to convince that we should be doing literally anything else. And this is how much we resist peace in our lives and why we don't have it in the world. As long as we treat boredom like something to be avoided, as something that is terrible, we will create the suffering instead of experiencing the peace. So we have to flip that script on its head. And we have to cherish moments of stillness. We have to get excited about boredom. We have to love and protect those silent, quiet, introspective moments that we have truly lost. 99.9%, if not more, of the average person's life is spent doing something. And this is what makes us so neurotic, so unhappy, so dissatisfied with a simple, peaceful experience. If we are always someplace else, in our work, in our phones and screens, worrying about the future or reminiscing about the past, we give ourselves no time to practice mindfulness, to witness our mind, let it unravel the experiences of the day. We give no time to sense what's going on in our bodies or to notice what's going on in our minds. And then we wonder why we can't relax, why we're not happy, because we've let little tiny moments accumulate and accumulate to become such big health, mental health, stress, and anxiety problems, because we didn't give ourselves the time to notice in our body where we need to slow down and relax. The truth is, boredom is a wonderful thing. Moments of stillness, long car rides where you forget your phone, these are great opportunities to be present, to slow down our thoughts, to create space between our thoughts, to allow the mind to settle down and to rest in one place, the here and now. And that is what a still mind is. It is slow and present. Boredom is simply the mind resisting getting quiet. And it happens because we have become habitually filling that silence. The more we can expand our attention by simply slowing down, that's what makes time feel shorter when we expand our attention. And the more we do this, all of that mind-made suffering in our lives diminishes simply with the slowing down of our thoughts. If we have 100 negative, anxious, stressful, angry thoughts in 1 minute, when we slow it down, that number comes down to maybe 5. Not so difficult, not so unbearable. Getting there can feel difficult because when we first turn off the devices or sit in stillness and resist the urge to go do something, eat something, fill up the space in the silence, we have that racing mind. We have all of that resistance coming to the surface, crying out in boredom. But that is not the truth of the moment. That is the truth of how our mind has become conditioned. It is the result of always doing, watching, consuming, distracting. The true nature of our mind is peace, restful, calm, joyful. If you've ever been in nature and just watched the animals, the bugs, the insects, they all spend so much time just sitting there, looking around, sitting on a leaf, sitting on a branch. Even our closest cousins, the chimps and the monkeys and apes and gorillas, they all just sit around for a bunch of hours every day. They're not worried they're wasting their time, that they should be doing something more important. They're just living. They're not bored. They're not impatient. They don't need something to distract or pacify them. They understand the joy of living and the need for rest. And we, the smartest species on this planet, debatably, can also experience this bliss, this simplicity, the joyful experience of just being alive. But we have to use boredom as our teacher, as the sacred opportunity to commune with ourselves and with the universe. It cannot happen when our focus is totally absorbed and consumed by some distraction, some activity. And we know that it is the cure for all of society's ills because we know that it is the one thing we all avoid like the plague. And when we can flip this one thing around, our entire life can turn around. Sometimes we have real problems in our lives, and they don't have a clear answer. But how much time do we give ourselves to really just sit and think about the problem and solutions and possible outcomes and reflecting on what will truly make us happier in the long run? How much time do we sit in stillness without distraction, getting into deep thought about how we want our lives to look and what steps it will take to get there? It really is, as Albert Einstein said, that he's not smarter than anyone. He just sits with a problem longer. Almost all of the great, if not all, the great discoveries, inventions, and insights have occurred in deep thought, deep reflection. Not 5 minutes and then take a break, but hours of focus. And not just thinking about the problem, thinking about a solution, but just allowing the mind to be totally free, to go where it wants, and to simply witness the mind, to practice that mindful observation of our thoughts, and to practice maintaining a present moment awareness of whatever arises, expanding our consciousness to our thoughts so that we don't lose ourselves to our thoughts, so they don't control us, and so we can sense the presence of our true selves, that consciousness within. When I was young, I did not know what peace meant. I was very impatient. I couldn't even lay on a pool chair for more than 5 minutes. I saw people laying on them for an hour or more, and I just didn't even know how they were able to do it. And it wasn't until I did a 12-day meditation retreat, meditating for 12 hours a day, where I first got a glimpse of peace, where my mind became silent for the first time. And once I experienced that, many of my addictive tendencies simply vanished because I no longer compulsively had to fill up the silence and the stillness. Now, you don't have to go off and meditate for 12 days, but you can find those moments. You can create more of them, and you can extend them. You can protect them at all cost. The more you can set a timer, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and not move or get up or do something, and just set your mind to that. Embrace this boredom as our teacher. Allow the mind to scream and throw a hissy fit, but every time you don't get up until that timer goes off, you are getting one step closer to that deep and lasting peace. You are taking back the power over your mind. You are allowing your higher self, the one that sets the intention, to take back control over the impatient, compulsive thoughts. You will give yourself the time to really reflect and become aware of how you are filling your day, how you are filling the spaces, and what benefit does each of those things that just distract us, that entertain us, that maybe inform us, but maybe not in a good way, maybe not in a way that enriches our happiness and peace. Maybe we're compulsively doom scrolling or, seeking out useless information that simply resonates with a negativity, negative energy, chaotic mind within us. And maybe you don't do any of that stuff. Maybe everything you do is well thought out and strategic and methodical, and everything has a purpose and a benefit. But we still need to create these moments where we can truly reflect just to make sure. And over time, we may even choose voluntarily to get rid of some of those things that fill up the noise, entertain us, but don't enrich our lives, and maybe distract us from what we really want in life. Sometimes, in that stillness, we can even just clear our mind. We can focus on our breath, or repeat a mantra if that's easier. We can put all of our focus into our body and just scan it and check if we're holding tension anywhere. Feel the sensations throughout our body. Make sure we're not neglecting any part of us. Make sure that we don't let little things become big problems. And most importantly, we just watch our thoughts. We watch whatever pops into our mind, stressful, anxious, whatever it is, and without reacting, we just watch it. Watch it come and go without leaving a trace, like a feather blowing in the wind, passing right by, without trying to grab it or brush it away. Simply being happy that we have this consciousness, that we have this awareness, and that we have this marvelous show that we get to watch. Sometimes good stuff, sometimes bad stuff. Always interesting. And when we reach that place where watching our mind, our body, our surroundings becomes as enjoyable and more enriching than any show or newsfeed or intoxicating foods and substances, then when we go back to watching a show with our family or getting back to work, it all just becomes icing on the cake. We're not doing it to escape. We're not doing it out of addiction to avoiding boredom. We're just enjoying all of the things and sensations that pass through our consciousness. There's no fear or frustration if we forget our phone, if we're going to be somewhere we don't usually want to be, because we have this contentment with nothingness. A deep peace that arises from those moments of silence. And all we have to do is make boredom our friend. Reacquaint ourselves with those moments of stillness and silence. Rise above the mind that fights it by setting our intention to embrace it. When we can conquer boredom, we can conquer anything. We can focus on what we need to focus on. We can easily say no to the distractions that get in our way. And we become free from the limiting mind that tries to sabotage us, that tells us we can't do something, that gives in to old habits, bad habits, because we have put our higher self back in charge. We can restrain from what feels good in the moment, but will be at our detriment later. And we can do the things that are challenging and necessary in the moment, but that lead to our lasting well-being and peace. Thank you so much for listening. I know that life can feel very busy, very chaotic, very stressful, like we don't even have a second for ourselves, for stillness. And that is why I have written a 4-book series on everything I have learned to develop peace, to create those moments of stillness within us, to become free from those day-to-day stresses in our lives and those addictive, impulsive thoughts, so that we can develop true and lasting happiness. And because this inner peace creates peace in our lives and peace in this world, I am making these 4 books completely free on eastwesticism.org, eastwesticism.org, so that we can transform our lives and transform this planet. Thank you so much again. Much love. Is there more to this universe than science can show us? Is there anything mystical or miraculous in the remote corners of the earth that I could see with my own 2 eyes? My newest book, Aloneness to Oneness, is that journey of discovery. From the rebellious kid who rejected it all, to the adult searching for something deeper, to the person I am today. It is all of the stories, wisdom, lessons, insights, and inspirations I gained on this adventure. If you've ever questioned, doubted, or wondered about the meaning of it all, this book is for you.